Hello everyone! A couple of years ago, the German company Smart got practically a second life. As sales of their cars declined, the company's leadership lacked ideas for developing a new line of vehicles and consequently for the company itself. At that time, the Chinese automotive holding Geely decided to acquire half of Smart. Thanks to this, the second model for the new lineup is now under review. Introducing the Smart number 3, and I will tell you all the details about this interesting car. You're watching the VOLTauto channel. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. Let's get started. The new and second model from the German car brand Smart has a simple name, Smart number 3. It would have been logical for the model following the Smart number 1 crossover, which was the first model in the company's new era, to be named Smart number 2. However, it seems that the Geely conglomerate, which now owns the majority of shares in the once European brand, reserved the number 2 index for the next car. It's worth noting that the number 2 is considered very lucky and auspicious in China, so the model with this index is expected to embody those qualities. The reason for not assigning the 2 to the new 5-door can be explained by the fact that this is not an entirely new car, but a variation of the previous year's first model. The company classifies its cars as sports utility coupes, considering the Smart number 3 a coupe crossover. The public debut of the 3 took place at the Munich Motor Show in September, and by early November one of these cars is already in Ukraine. I'm sure that European brands can only dream of such speed in bringing new models to the market. Now you can see how the public debut of this car in Europe unfolded. I'll repeat, this happened during the largest auto show in Europe at IAA 2023. Under the hood we see gas struts instead of a conventional hood prop, which is nice. But even more pleasing is that this car is a true electric vehicle, which should have a front trunk, a frunk. As you can see, this Smart also has one. In terms of exterior design, pay attention to the retractable door handles and the differences between the regular version of this car and the version with Brabus in its name. This is most noticeable at the front. Such a car has an air intake above the brand's name and in front of the hood line. Also, note the more sloping roof and narrower CyberSpark's LED matrix headlights compared to the first Smart. Several new body colors have been added to the palette, such as metallic orange and a matte blue. This is also a new color for the interior, called Vibrant Brown. Technically, both Smart models from the new lineup are identical. They are based on the modular CEA Smart Electric Architecture platform, which belongs to the Geely conglomerate. Like the first model, the Smart number 3 is offered in two versions. The first 5-door has only rear-wheel drive and an electric motor producing 200 kilowatts or 272 horsepower. The second version, with the Brabus designation, features all-wheel drive and a total power of 315 kilowatts or 428 horsepower. Both versions are equipped with a 66 kWh battery. The single-motor version has a range of 580 km on a single charge, while the all-wheel drive version has a range of 520 km. Of course, let me tell you about the dimensions of the car. The wheelbase of the electric vehicle is 2.78 meters, length is 4.40 meters, width is 1.84 meters, height is 1.56 meters, and the ground clearance is 181 mm. There are 4 trim levels: Pro Plus, Premium for the rear-wheel drive, and Pulse, Brabus for all-wheel drive. The Brabus version, with its iconic name, technically does not differ from the Pulse configuration, but has slightly more aggressive bodywork and other minor features. As promised, before we move on to the interior review, let me tell you about the first model in the brand's newest history. I'm talking about the electric crossover Smart number 1. We first saw the Smart concept at the IAA 2021 car show, which also took place in Munich. At that time, we explored all the novelties of the European car world. As you can see, the production version didn't deviate far from the concept. As a result, the length of the first Smart is 4.27 meters and the wheelbase is 2.75 meters. The crossover is built on a sustainable experience architecture platform, which is now used for almost all Geely vehicles. The first production modification is a rear-wheel drive car with a single electric motor with a power of 200 kilowatts or 272 horsepower. The crossover's maximum speed is 180 kilometers per hour, making it the most powerful Smart to date. But it can be even more powerful. It's essential to note that the Smart No. 1 Brabus became the brand's first all-wheel drive model. It features the same 272 horsepower motor on the rear axle and the front motor with a power of 115 kilowatts or 156 horsepower. This totals to 428 electric horses. As a battery electric vehicle, the Smart No. 1 Brabus also became the heaviest in the brand's history, weighing 1,900 kilograms thanks to its 66 kilowatt-hour battery. The battery provides a range of 420 kilometers according to the European WLTP cycle. By the way, the same battery is used for the ZK-X model, which I recently reviewed. If you haven't seen it, I recommend checking it out. The link is in description. In general, Smart promises to release one new model annually. They made this statement last year, and with the release of the number 3, they have kept their word. Let's see what the future holds. It was expected that the interior of the second model would be unified with the first, but there is a noticeable difference. The number 3 has round air vents in the center of the front panel, while the number 1 has rectangular ones. In front of the driver is a round steering wheel, and behind it is a stretched display for the instrument panel. There is also a heads-up display. The main display has a diagonal of 13 inches. I will specifically mention the English language option for the media system and all electric vehicle settings. The Beats audio system with 13 speakers or other options are the same as in the first model. Red seatbelts are only available in the Brabus configuration. Sitting in the front row, it's impossible not to notice the central tunnel, which designers have tried to make as smooth as possible. All compartments are covered with special curtains, creating a sleek effect. Take a look at the sun visors. In this model, they are made partially transparent, but tinted. In the middle of the block, above the windshield, there is an opening for sunglasses and a rear view mirror with automatic dimming. Of particular note is the solid panoramic roof without a sliding shade. This car does not have a sunroof. 99% of ultraviolet rays is 1.6 meters. On the rear sofa, considering the car's class, there is nothing unusual. The seat and backrest themselves are comfortable with no complaints. There is a folding armrest with cup holders. This indicates that you are sitting not in a hatchback, but in a crossover. As a standard option, seat heating is available in all configurations except the base one. Seat ventilation is only available in the Brabus version. 360-degree view cameras are present in all 4 configurations. Let's consider the situation. We are in the front of the trunk, and where do you think the opening button is? You won't guess it the first time, because under the door's bottom there is only a camera and the license plate lights. The manufacturer's logo is on the door. I won't keep you guessing, the opening button is in the logo, precisely in the center of the letter A. Surprising, isn't it? The trunk itself is predictably small. Under the floor there is a 2-level pin, and above its cover we see a rubber mat with the brand's white logo. I will specifically mention the liftgate height. It is at least good, and considering the car's height, can be said to be excellent. Naturally, there is also an automatic closing button. Since this electric car is from China, it is equipped with locally standard charging ports. The slow AC port of the GB/T AC standard for alternating current can be found on the left side of the rear fender. It allows charging the electric car, for example, from a household outlet. Next to it is the fast DC charging port of the GB/T DC standard. Through it, you can recharge the battery at stations with direct current. By the way, the charging station networks are not standing still. They are adapting to the rapidly growing number of electric vehicles from China and installing an increasing number of terminals with charging ports of the GB/T standard. And to buy this or a similar model, as well as any other electric car for personal or commercial use, you can do it with us, the largest importer of electric cars from China, VOLTauto. And we will see you in the next electric car review. Goodbye!